I directed plays at school. I just sort of fell into it because I was the bossy one in the cast, and our drama teacher we did this thing called Connections at school, which was like a competition, and instead of directing it, she was like, you guys take ownership, but then I just took more ownership than everybody else. People started asking me to direct things, which is nice, sort of going from the assistant director to actually having my own projects. And then we decided our big goal was to do 24/7s, and I've been on the sort of legit directors list for a couple of years now, going to the producers meeting, and this year we struck gold and managed to actually bag one. Because I've been to the producers meeting for 24/7 a few years in a row, I sort of know how the process works a little bit more now. So when you originally start doing 24/7, you have to email Ian Townsend and say what plays you like, which I find a very difficult question because I like all sorts of plays. But everything I basically put down is what Afterglow is. So I said I like relationship-y stuff, but I said I like things which are intimate, honest, a little bit hard to watch. And when I read Afterglow, my little heart sped up, got really excited, got quite sad, thought about a lot of things that had happened to me, and I thought, if I'm feeling this on a first read, what's it going to be like to actually work with people, bring this to life, what are the audience going to feel like? Afterglow was my clear favourite, so I just started harassing Julie a bit actually on Twitter, private messages, emails, in person at the production meeting. Just wouldn't leave her alone for a bit, then I was like, let's have a meeting face to face as well. It's just really exciting now, and I think I said this actually a couple of weeks ago. People said, what are you excited about? And I said, about 2 weeks into rehearsal, when it feels less stressful and more fun. And we've just had a really fun rehearsal now, when I think it starts to feel more real, and you start to like all that sort of conversation about what certain things mean, and what you've experienced yourself, and like what's the difference between you and your character. It all becomes less separate and starts being mashed in together and making more sense. So I don't know if it's changed, because I think one of the reasons I liked it so much is when I read it, I had a really clear vision of maybe not what I wanted to do with it, but how I wanted it to make people feel. And I think that's remained consistent, but now I'm starting to feel those things rather than imagining feeling those things, which is nice. I like to think that I'm quite good at being audience aware and how people will feel when they see something, and like where they might lose their attention. But obviously your biggest fear is that people don't feel the way you feel when you watch something. The biggest fear is always that that falls flat, and you can feel it when something falls flat. So I would just be devastated if people don't feel the way I want them to. And then what I'm most looking forward to is having a full run, because generally with fringe things without budgets, unfortunately they're over before they even begin. You put all this work in, and then you just get 3 nights, and whoever's lucky enough to catch those 3, and then you're all like, oh, what are we doing with our lives now? So it's nice to let that live a little bit longer. Sometimes you can just feel like it's your mum and a couple of your best mates. So it'll be the first time as a director, as opposed to an assistant director. The audience will be primarily people I don't know, so it actually feels a bit more like a legit thing, like people you don't know watching you work. That's a bit of an ego trip, isn't it? But that's quite exciting. Intimate, because I think it really invites the audience to share in feelings which are between 2 people without feeling voyeuristic. So I think intimate's a really nice way to describe it. Honest, because I don't think it's that perfect blend of the rose tint of when you fall for someone and like everything's just dead excited, but then also the fact that sometimes things just don't go the way you plan, and it's not necessarily about a big incident, and relatable, because hopefully people will reflect upon their own lives and really recognise things within both the characters and the circumstances.